When I started to play golf, I always began a scorecard, but I virtually never ended up a round of golf actually filling one out because, it's frustrating. You're losing a golf ball or two each hole, and then you might get to a 10 on a hole and go, oh, let's not bother today. But eventually, as you start to play more and get more familiar with the game, you're going to actually be able to fill out a scorecard. And here is an example. This is the front nine. Golf courses are divided up into nines. I'll talk more about that in a moment. And the front nine at Cadavadera, a wonderful course in Northern California where I teach and enjoy playing. So these are the numbers that you're going to see, the columns as well. You've got the holes numbered 1 through 9, and it's called out. And that's an expression that's very historic. The game was played originally on what they call the linkland, which was a term given to the land that separated the beach from the cultivatable land that ran all along the coast, many, many miles. Quite a narrow strip of land. And being narrow, when they started to use it for golf, because it's actually short grass, a rare place in the world where you can actually hit a ball cross country and go find it again, that they really couldn't go hither and thither. They had to go out along the coast. So each hole would just be a succession, one after another down the coast. And then when you got to the end of the 9th hole and onto the 10th tee, then you'd start coming back again. And so the front nine, as it's called, is out, and the back nine is in. And then you'll see the yards, the distance. And there are several tees on golf holes nowadays. And so you've got the highest number is the black tees, very often, certainly on this course. And that's the longest course. And it adds up the entirety of the yardages for each hole and gives you the total. So the longest tees on this course on the front nine add up to 3,400 yards. Now, the ladies have their own tees, of course, and the course is shorter. And then there's a little bit of a complexity here because they actually have combo tees, which is rather neat. So you can actually play a combination of some of the holes where you'd like it to be a little longer than normal and a little shorter, and they give you some options here, which is rather cute. Now, then you've got a list of pars. Now, par is the term given to the standard for that hole where a good golfer playing well would hit how many shots onto the green and then two putt. Always thought that two putts is the standard. So on a par 4, like the first hole here, a good golfer playing well would hit 2 shots to get on the green and 2 putt if they were to play well on that hole. You've heard the term birdie, that's 1 below par. So if it happens to be on the 4th hole, which is a par 3, 1 shot on the green to 2 putts, then a birdie would be actually a 2, which means you go on the green and then make the putt. Very nice. And then there's the next column, which is, row, which is the men's handicap. Now, the handicap column is interesting. It looks like a random row of numbers, but if you notice, they're all odd numbers, and they're 1 through 17. So each of these numbers corresponds to the degree of difficulty of that hole as decided by a committee, either from the local governing body or from the club itself. And so number 1 is the hardest hole on the course. And then they're numbered from there on out. So number 4, so number 3 is the hardest hole on the course here. Number 4 is the easiest hole on the front nine, 17. Now on the back nine, they're all odd, even numbers. And the even numbers are 2 through 18. So the hardest hole on the back nine is number 2. The easiest one is number 18, stroke index as it's called. And enormously valuable when you're playing match play, because if I'm a better golfer than my opponent, one of the unique things about golf is that we have handicaps. And let's say my opponent plays to a 20 handicap and I play to a 10. There are some mathematical modifications, but let's say I'm giving that golfer 10 strokes. You don't just do it randomly. I give a stroke a hole in match play to the 10 hardest holes on the golf course. So that would be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 on this hole, on this course. And then on the back 9, it would be 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And so my opponent is getting help on the holes where he or she is most likely to need it.